Riders preparing for our next event. They don't waste time between events here. It's action all the way. And it's in the men's Keirin down to the semi-finals. Matt Glaitzer, Kevin Quintero, Jack Carlin and Jason Kenny, the two Great Britain riders. Suriname's Jai John Enfar and Kwesi Brown from Trinidad and Tobago. Well, Japan's hopes will be in the next race in the Keirin, but they love Keirin here. It is a passion. There isn't a day that goes by in the year and there isn't a race, a Keirin event somewhere in Japan.
Well, the riders will be feeling a lot of pressure here because it is the first three riders who will go through to the final, and the other riders will race for 7th to 12th at this Olympic Games. As we see Jack Carlin, we know that he's the last man to zip his suit up. He leaves it undone until the last minute. But will Jason Kenny and Carlin work together? Will they have a plan?
Silver medalists in the men's team sprint, but they're against each other here. Kevin Quintero from Colombia, Jai John Enfar, Kwesi Brown and Matthew Glaitzer from Australia down on the inside.
Well, you see all the different faces of focus on the start line. Everything's in place now. This is the ride to put them into the final. So we're looking for the top three to make it through to the Keirin final. The Derny has left the other side of the track. He'll pick the pace up now to 30 kilometres per hour when he passes the riders and increase that pace to 50 kilometres per hour over 3 laps.
Begun for the start of the first semi-final in the men's Keirin, and a field to save here. Matt Glaitzer from Australia, Kevin Quintero from Colombia, Jack Carlin and Jason Kenny from Great Britain, Jai John Enfar from Suriname and Kwesi Brown from Trinidad and Tobago. He is second wheel at the moment behind Matt Glaitzer, who's taken up position behind the Derny.
We saw this in the last round, Matthew Glaitzer taking the Derny from the front. He's not been well during this Tokyo Olympics campaign. Unfortunately, he was unwell earlier in the week for the sprints, so he wanted to see if he could get his health back on track before lining up for the Keirin. Still not 100% there, but he'll give his absolute best for Australia. So Brown in second wheel, then John Enfar, Quintero, and the two British riders, Jason Kenny and Jack Carlin.
Oh, Great Britain have a tremendous record here. They've won the last 3 gold medals. This Hoy and Jason Kenny between them as Carlin moves up. And the Derny drops away and Carlin goes to the front. Glaitzer behind him, Brown on his wheel, and Kenny has moved up. Remember, 3 riders through to the final here.
Well, Glaitzer sensed a move coming from Quintero. And Quintero does get a pass. He's on the hip now of Jack Carlin. There's a little bit of a fight there for the sprinters lane, but Quintero takes the lead with Jack Carlin and Matthew Glaitzer. Now Matthew Glaitzer hits some power on the pedals, and Matthew Glaitzer's got the 2 British riders behind him.
Here they come around to the outside.
Quarter of a lap to go. Matthew Glaitzer will hold on for top 3 and go through, and so will
both British riders and Jai John Enfar of Suriname.
Only 3.
Beg your pardon, 3 through. So Jai John Enfar goes through, but I think that Jack Carlin's missed out here. Kenny, well, he finds a way.
Well, it's unbelievable tactical riding from Jason Kenny. As we see there, he got squeezed out. And the throw for the line. Jason Kenny, Matthew Glaitzer and John Enfar from Suriname will go through to the final of the Keirin. And Matthew Glaitzer looks like he's back in form.
He certainly does, the Australian. Very confident ride from Matthew Glaitzer there. And Jason Kenny seems to have found his mojo now. So Kenny, Glaitzer and John Enfar are through to the final of the Keirin. What a moment for Suriname. 500,000 people on the smallest country in South America, and they have a rider in the Keirin final at the Olympic Games.
Absolutely amazing. And these semi-finals could actually be finals because they're two heats that are packed with big names. And this one certainly got all the names in there as well. 3 riders through to the final.
Well, there's an air of tension around the Izu Velodrome now, because in this second semi-final is the hope for Japan, Wakimoto Yuta. Also there is this man, Harry Lebraessen, who is the world and Olympic sprint champion and a doubles gold medalist already here. Rayan Halal from France. Then it's Max Levy, former world champion and multiple medalist at the World Championships, bronze medalist in London. Harry Lebraessen in his first Olympic Games. Nicholas Paul, who won the quarterfinal with such consummate ease, the fastest man over 200 meters in the world. And then it is Muhammad Azul Hasni Awang from Malaysia. And bottom of the track is the hopes of Japan, Wakimoto Yuta. Big round of applause for this man.
Derny leaves the other side of the track and makes it away around to pick up the riders. Wakimoto will most likely take the Derny.
The start of the second semi-final in the men's Keirin. A race to savour here. Wakimoto Yuta from Japan. Azul Hasni Awang from Malaysia. Nicholas Paul from Trinidad and Tobago. Harry Lebraessen from the Netherlands. Max Levy, the German legend. And Rayan Halal, the young Frenchman in this race. What a race we've got in prospect.
Yeah, all the big names here. And only 3 of them can go through to the final.
Well, the crowd will be on the edge of their seats watching Wakimoto Yuta, who is just behind the Derny rider now. He does have pedigree as a pro Keirin racer in Japan.
Max Levy, the big German rider there. We've got a few different builds of riders here, with the Japanese and Malaysian in first and second place being the smaller riders but very zippy and fast, and the big strong man down towards the back.
Nicholas Paul in the red and white there for Trinidad and Tobago, power sprinter. He put in a huge sprint early on and won his quarterfinal with consummate ease. Can he do it again here? The Derny pulls off.
Well, that's the thing about backing up 3 big rides for these races that get to the final. And Levy now makes a move from the back. He goes past Nicholas Paul. Can he get past? Yes, he does. And he's past the Wang now as well. So it's Levy takes to the front.
Only 3 riders go through here. Levy, Wakimoto, Awang and Nicholas Paul as they take the bell here. Can Levy hold it together? Harry Lebraessen's got the power on the outside. Muhammad Awang down the bottom side is Nicholas Paul. It's very tight there and it's all very close. Wakimoto nearly went out. The top 3, well, it's Lebraessen. I think Levy is through and I think Nicholas Paul. But that'll be very close. Awang. Well, there we go. Wang won the race, of course, Levy and then Lebraessen. Disappointment for the Japanese fans here. Well, how Wakimoto kept it together there. It was a touch of wheels. And he and I think it was Rayan Halal very nearly went down. That's what it means to the Japanese. Disappointment for them.
Well, what an exciting race that was. And the very, very fastest man on 2 wheels over 200 metres, Nicholas Paul, he misses out for the final. But you see this, the rider from Trinidad and Tobago in red, he came underneath and he really put pressure on Wakimoto of Japan. He may be relegated for improving position under the sprinters line. But Awang. So qualification results now seem to be final. A little bit of discussion. There may be protests, but for the moment, Awang, Levy and Lebraessen go through to the final of the men's Keirin, which is going to be super exciting.
So those 3 at this stage are through. And this is confirmation that the final will be Gleitzer, Kenny, Levy, Awang, Lebraessen and Jai Chon in 4. What a mix there. What a What a star-studded final we've got in prospect.